This is a tutorial on making swaying curtains. Okay, let's first make the curtain. Select the box tool, make a box. We're going to do it numerically here. We'll say 22 feet wide by 10 feet high and 22 segments left to right and 10 segments high. So we'll do that. So there's our box. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to select every other point and we're going to pull them out a little bit. And then we're going to hit Tab. Voila, there's our curtain. The next thing we need to do is make the controllers that are going to be used in Bullet Dynamics. Okay, so now we're going to make the 2-point poly controller for the Bullet Dynamics. We're on layer 2 for the 2-point polys, and you can see layer 1 in the background is the curtain mesh. So we're going to do Shift X to make a box, and we're going to go right over top of the old mesh. But this time we're not going to have any left or right segments, only 10 high. So it's still going to be the same width of the curtain, 22 feet wide, 10 feet high, but only 10 segments high. Okay, and then we'll flip the polys. So now what we're going to do is we're going to select the bottom 8 polygons and leave the top 2 unselected. We're going to make a new curtain weight, so we'll call it curtain weight and hit create, and there you have it. But from what we're going to do is we're going to select all the poly points on the right side and delete them where we only have one section. But what we need to do is clone this about 11 times. So we're going to clone it 11 times, and we're going to stretch it back a little bit so that it's the same width. So basically what you see in the top view, which is going to be positioned between the top row of points and the bottom row, we'll put them right in the middle. They're basically a 1-for-1 with the existing poly points. I'm going to just pull it over a little bit, and I'm going to just pull it back a little bit. This isn't super crucial, and so this is going to be a Bullet Dynamics is going to be applied to these 2-point poly chains. The Bullet Dynamics will only affect the bottom part that has the weight and not the top part. Along with the weight shade that's applied to these 2-point polys, we also need to make a morph that we will keyframe so that it slowly opens the curtain. These 2-point polys are the controllers that the curtain will emulate. So we need to make a morph and have them get closer together as if the curtain was opening and it's getting pulled back. Okay, so we have sent the object from the modeler into layout, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to select the curtain, not the poly but the curtain, hit P for properties, go under render tab and turn the dissolve up to 100%. So we're going to just hide that for now. We're going to arrow down, and now we are on the 2-point polys, and here we're going to animate the opening of the curtain. So I'm set up for about 200 frames, so I'm going to go into about at the 60 frame point, hit P and hit deform, and we're going to add a morph mixer, and there's the endomorph that we've created. Double click on that, and we're going to put it out at 100%, and you see how it goes open. It gets shorter. That's what we want. The curtain's really opening. We're also going to go into the envelope, and we're going to select both of these keyframes and turn the tension up to 1 so that the movement starts out slow, then it's on a steady state, and then it slows down as it closes. So that would look like this. Okay, so we've got the morph going. Now we want to work with the bullet dynamics. So we're going to click on Deform Body because that's what we want. And we're going to go up to Window and Bullet Dynamics. And this is how we're going to set it up. We don't want any gravity. 0. You don't want the curtain to get really, really long and stretched. You don't want that. So the mesh filter is the weight map that we've made, the curtain weight that's applied to the 2-point polys. This needs to be on vertices. And you can see that it's starting to do some weird stuff because we're not set up correctly. So shape retention needs to be about 3%. Linear stiffness is about 55. Angular is about 55. And the other ones are about at 0. Solver is at 1. And this seems to be a pretty good setting that I found. I'm going to turn this temporarily back to about 100 so you can see how it's going to open and sway, open and sway. Now the important thing here is that everything in these properties that are affecting this swaying needs to be set up because the curtain is going to do this exact motion. Even though these are lines, the whole curtain is going to swing this way. And if you think that you can apply bullet dynamics to the curtain, I tried it and it doesn't really work. But one thing that I want to do in here is under the damping coefficient, I'm going to put this back up at 200. Because you need a way to stop the swaying or it'll kind of go on for a long, long time. So we're going to hit the E for envelope and we're going to add another keyframe. And we're going to select these two and we're going to slide them down so that they probably start around 60 or so. And you can also make the tension go up to 1 for both of these. So if we select this one only, that's at about frame 67. And you'll see what it's going to do. So we're going to go back here to 0, hit play. They're going to close and they're going to sway and then they're slowly going to go down to nothing. That was probably actually a little bit too quick of it happening. So we're going to select the ending one and we're going to drag it out and bring this down a little bit. It's amazing how this one can be at 0 and this one can be about at 3% and you're still going to get the stopping of friction. It's going to open, swing, and then they're slowly going to go down to nothing. So now we got bullet applied. So now the next thing that we got to do on the 2-point poly is we have to add a MD Baker. And what that's going to do, it's going to take the endomorph and the bullet and all those effects that are making the curtain smush together with the morph and then sway with bullet. It's going to take all that information and it's going to write it out to a file. So when you double click the Baker and you tell it where you want to put the file, so we're going to go to the desktop and kind of already have one here, but I'm going to hit move to trash. And this is the name of the file, so we're going to hit save to the desktop and we're going to hit OK and it's going to say start Baker and you're going to see the timeline down here just run through real fast. And it just told you, it just wrote the file, so we're good to go. Even though you didn't see the action go, it did write the file. Okay, so now what we need to do is turn off these effects. and we need to go up to the effects and add cloth. You can see how these are ready to manipulate, but we're going to go to File, Load Motion, go to the desktop. We're going to load that file, open, and it should work. So now that MDD file has all the parameters to make the curtain sway back and forth. Alright, so now we're going to go up to, actually when we're in here we're going to do we're going to hide this one. We're going to go up to the curtain. We're going to unhide the curtain so you see it. And you want to make sure that the subdivision was on last. When we made the curtain, we subdivided it. You want to make sure this is on last. We go to Deform. We're going to go to Metalink, Effects Metalink. And what this is going to do, it's going to read the data from the 2-point poly. And the last thing that we need to do is hit M for motion. We're selected on the curtain, and we're going to parent the curtain to the 2-point poly. So now this Effects Metalink is emulating what the 2-point poly is doing via the cloth effects. Pretty tricky, pretty amazing. So now we hit play, and the curtain opens and sways, and then it slows down. Pretty amazing. I'm going to go up here to perspective view, zoom in a little bit so you can kind of see it a little bit better. You can just play with those bullet effects, especially the envelope for the damping, to make it sway more, last longer. But that's pretty close to what I was needing for my purposes in this tutorial. I hope you learned a lot. I hope you liked it. Thanks.